All right, welcome. Thursday, August 13th. Good day for for gratitude practice. Before we get going, I wanted to share this. So, some of you know I've been working on a book for a while, and I'm excited to announce that it is officially out and available on Amazon and elsewhere. And the reason for the book is actually very apropos to today's session. There's no way I would have written this book had I not, started sort of co-founded CIT clinics with Adam. And I wouldn't have started the clinics if it hadn't been for my own run-ins with mental health and my own personal struggles there. And so I guess the high level gist of it is you just never know, right? When you're in a difficult situation, it just generally feels icky and you want to get out of it. But in my experience, that's oftentimes where really the gold is, and so that's sort of the theme for today's session. But yeah, the idea behind the book is it's a very practical kind of how-to workbook based on the many years of experience that Adam and I have been working with so many different patients and walks of life. And yeah, if you're interested in checking out, you can get it on Amazon. So, okay, so today's theme here, good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from poor judgments. That's Mark Twain, as per usual, sort of tongue in cheek. And of course, there's sort of two different nuances here in terms of experience, right? But when we go through life and we want to amass our capacity to make good judgments as we go through life, a lot of times we know not to touch the hot stove or the fire, probably because we did it at some point. So that quote unquote bad decision or that poor judgment of doing so is what gives us the experience, so that moving forward we know to teach our children to not touch the hot stove, right? So this idea of bad experiences, quote unquote, being a doorway into gratitude. And so the intention for today's session is to spend a little bit of time maybe reflecting on a bad experience that we've had, and to appreciate, maybe find some sense of gratitude for the lessons that we learned from it and how that's actually enriched our life and set us up to be able to make better decisions as we go through life in this moment. So let's go there. So close your eyes, except for Bill, who's driving. Please don't close your eyes. Let's take a moment just to settle into this moment right now. In a very real way, this moment right here, right now, this is all we've got. Everything else is an illusion. It's a kind of fantasy. Like memories that we have. It's just neurons firing, synaptic connections getting activated or shut down. And then those memories appear in our mind as images, feeling tone in the body, words, ideas. But all of that happens in the now. So even though the illusion is that we're traveling back into time, into our memory, we're actually doing so from this moment right here. So just feel the ground beneath your feet. Feel the chair supporting you so you can sit. The heart beating, the lungs breathing. It's what it's like to be in direct contact with your life in this present moment. And the same holds true for time travel into the future. And so any ideas that we have about what's going to happen in 10 minutes from now or this evening, that too is just a kind of fantasy that gets spun up by the brain, by the mind, and it too leaves an imprint in the body, either excitement or maybe anxiety, worry. But that too is all happening right here, right now. And of course, we can use our mind to practice. So that's what we'll do in a moment here. See if you can bring to mind a quote unquote bad experience that you've had. And maybe on a scale from 1 to 10, pick a 5 or a 6. So not the worst experience ever. That might be too much, but just something where maybe there's some sense of remorse or regret, disappointment, shame, even. And go back into that memory. See if you can really, on some level, relive it. What did you do, or what didn't you do that you tell yourself you should have done? What was said, by whom and to whom? Notice where you were, maybe even the clothes you were wearing. Notice what the weather was doing. And then see if you can get clear about, what was the problem with that situation? And specifically about you and how you engaged with that situation. Why is it considered bad or negative? And oftentimes you can find the answer to that question by looking for the should or the shouldn't. I should have done this or I shouldn't have said that. Oftentimes, the way our nervous system learns is through pain and challenge and hardship, discomfort. It grabs our attention, just like touching the hot stove is usually something we do maybe once or twice in our life. And then we know why, because it really hurts. And so what's the, if that's the metaphor, the situation that you are remembering, where's the learning? What did you get from that situation? Maybe there was poor judgment involved on your part. If you can sort of shift your perspective on it now and say, well, luckily, that's how I learned that lesson. Or lucky for me, I got that reminder that way. It wasn't worse. It could have been even more intense or more painful. So seeing if you can activate some sense of gratitude for having learned that lesson or having had that experience. Noticing what it taught you or reminded you of. and think values, right? Like, what are the values that that uncomfortable experience taught you? And then appreciating that you are who you are in this moment today, in part due to that experience. The lesson learned still sits with you, has become part of who you are now. Maybe it's made you wiser, more experienced, more capable of avoiding such situations. Again, seeing if you can find that sense of gratitude and appreciation for having gone through that so that you can be the person that you are in this moment. Maybe setting up the mind, your disposition to so called bad experiences that are likely to come your way in the future. And imagine yourself meeting those challenges with this attitude of, what am I learning here? How's this helping me make better judgments in the future? Take a deep breath in. Long exhale through the mouth, relaxing the shoulders, your hands, your chest, letting go of that memory, coming back to the present moment. Hold the out breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and in and out. Again, just softening into the body, into the space around you, relaxing the belly, the chest, the throat. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just keeping your eyes closed. Just let the body breathe. If you can, see if you can just notice the sort of the afterglow of activating gratitude and appreciation. Where in the body does that live? Like, feel it, savor it, familiarize yourself with that experience, that sensation. Open your eyes, come on back. Think of this as like emotional alchemy. It's like you take something that feels bristly and edgy and painful, and if we can shift our mindset and really hold it with some degree of compassion and appreciation, then that's how we turn those mistakes into gold. So hope that served, and appreciate you all. And yeah, hope to see you again tomorrow at noon. Take care, everyone.